They wolfed down epic platters of scrambled eggs. They wore baseball caps backwards and moved in packs. The jocks and I were like planets in different orbits, circling one another but not colliding. I felt that if we did, I would be obliterated. During the spring of my junior year, I'd taken to wearing a turquoise, acid-washed, blue jean jacket, and I wore a studded leather wristband that served as a wallet, a souvenir from Los Angeles, where I'd spent the previous term away from school, working in the realer world. I had my hair permed down the center, but cut shorter on the sides, in a recent fit of enthusiasm for the artist who was still then known as Prince, and also for the look of a singer named Adam Ant. Despite my stylist's valiant efforts, my hair looked nothing like theirs. But I did look like someone trying very hard not to look like everyone else. I was elaborately disguised as someone who didn't care what other people thought of me. I now can't be sure the jocks gave me much thought at all, but I assumed they didn't like me or considered me ridiculous, as was suggested by the occasional sneer directed my way. Certainly, many of my women friends, especially the very out lesbians, as well as my more feminine gay friends, had contended with derision, menace, and worse from the college jocks. There was good reason to leave space between myself and anyone wearing a leather jacket. All that dramatically changed at the end of my junior year when I collided with one jock in particular, Chris Maxey, known to just about everyone as Maxey. From the start, it was clear that Maxey and I should not be friends. What was less obvious was that I was much more prejudiced against him than he was against me. Yet we became friends and have remained so for the next 40 years, right up to the present day. Perhaps I didn't care to know Maxey, but fortunately, the matter was taken out of my hands. Because if I hadn't met him, my life would have been less rich and less fun. Had it not been for Maxey, the me that is here today wouldn't be me. Also, I never would have learned how to breathe. He tells me I had a similar effect on his life, except he figured out how to breathe all by himself. Initiation. Just beyond Yale's campus, a 3-story building composed of limestone blocks presents a sheer, windowless front. An iron fence separates the sidewalk from a moat of carefully tended grass. 2 handsome shrubs stand sentry at either side of a short flight of rough-hewn granite steps. The decorative stonework at knee level and around the building's door makes a nod to ancient Greece, but there's no hint as to what lies inside. A gray slate path leads to the unwelcoming black door. The intricate details on its exterior visible only when the sun hits it just right. There was no sun the first time I entered. It was the middle of the night. Everything began with a visit from my friend Tim. We'd been at high school together. He was a year older. Tim was one of those kids who's equally popular with adults and other teens. He had the floppy hair sported by the stoners in our class, but his wry smile and willingness to chat with anyone set him apart from the floppy-haired kids who wouldn't meet an adult's eye. Once I arrived at Yale, Tim and I kept in touch the way students did in the early 1980s before there were mobile phones and personal computers. We had phones in our rooms, where we rarely were, but no answering machines. So calling one another almost always resulted in endless ringing. Instead, we would drop by unannounced and leave notes on someone's door if a knock went unanswered. The visit from Tim that would change my life came in early 1983, in the spring of my junior year, when he stopped by my room to ask if I could join him for lunch the following day. Tim refrained from commenting on the number of Matt Dillon posters I had on my walls. At the time, I lived for Matt Dillon, but had to make do with pictures of him in his first 5 movies. Over the Edge Matt, Little Darlings Matt, My Bodyguard Matt, Tex Matt, and Liar's Moon Matt. In my small dorm room, that left only enough wall space for a modest corkboard.